one game left for the Seahawks. We were waiting to see, all right, which day is it going to be? What time is it going to be? You know, they released the schedule now. A game that obviously can have an impact. First of all, the Seahawks have to handle their business, clearly. They got to beat the Rams. And then you become huge Lions fans, in case you were wondering. You need the Lions to beat the Packers. That way, the Seahawks win their game, Lions win, Seahawks are in. If the Lions lose, Packers are in, Seahawks are out. Well, the problem here is that the Packers-Lions game is scheduled for Sunday Night Football, which people are looking at saying, well, if the Seahawks, take out the Rams, well, then the Lions are eliminated and they've got nothing to play for. And they're just going to go out there and lay down in front of the Packers. And I'm just maybe in any other situation, Dave, I might go, yeah, there might be something to that. But if there's one coach that can get his team fired up to play a game where there's nothing of consequence on the line anymore, it's Dan Campbell. I think, A, you're playing a rival that you hate. You have a chance to really screw up their hopes and dreams, which I think is a motivator. And I just think when you're playing for Dan Campbell and you're a part of a situation that seems to have turned around in a pretty significant way, I just don't look at it that way. You tell me. You said before the show, unfortunately, you've been in a lot of situations where the final game didn't matter in terms of playoffs. But the idea that somehow you're going to go out there and go, all right, let's just get this over with. I don't know. I don't see that with this in this particular situation.
Not at all. Yeah, to me, and it's kind of funny. I didn't even think about, what that would be, that they would be mathematically eliminated, because I don't see it going that way. I mean, I think that's the perfect coach for this situation. And haven't been part of on a number of occasions. 6. I went to the playoff 3 times. But yeah, you love that. You want to screw it up for whatever team you're playing. I don't know.
Especially your hated rival.
Yeah, I mean, is there a bigger rivalry? Is it maybe Minnesota and the Packers?
Maybe Packers-Bears.
Yeah, you get Packers-Bears. But yeah, I mean, I think this is an opportunity for these guys to. I can in my head, I can hear and see Dan Campbell getting his team fired up. And here's the other thing, though, and seriously, as far as going into the next week or the next year and, the momentum that carries going into the offseason and how you finished, I mean, that's a big deal to them. So, yeah, I don't think that I guess I didn't look at it that way, that they kind of screwed it up, because I don't see any quit in that Detroit Lions team.
Yeah, I think that game matters to them. Obviously, when the playoffs are on the line, I guess it provides more intensity, perhaps. But there's such a rivalry between those two teams, and that's your division foe. It'd be like the Seahawks and 49ers playing. You're not laying down for them because you've got nothing on the line. You want to screw it up for the 49ers,
right?
You want to find joy in their misery. And I think that's the line, and the Lions have been playing really well. Jared Goff's playing out of his mind. Dan Campbell's got this thing looking like a formidable team moving forward. And the other part that we've talked about, as it relates to the Seahawks, and we were talking about, hey, who do these last games mean the most to and all that, you got guys on that roster that are playing either for contract extensions or jobs on that roster, keeping a job on that roster, or putting something good on tape for the offseason, coaching staffs of every other team to look at and say, hey, we could use that guy.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and also the other thing is it's just fun. And I just remember thinking before every game, I got an opportunity to maybe get a pick six or, pick off Dan Marino and then get tackled on the sidelines. But, I'm looking at this team right now. I mean, they lost since the bye week. I'm talking about the Detroit Lions. They lost to Dallas and Miami. 2 really good teams. And then the other losses come from they lost to Buffalo by 3 points. And then they lost to the Carolina Panthers. But, I mean, this team is 7-4 coming down the stretch here. And, they've won, 7 of their last 9 games. So this is a good team right now. And like you said, Goff is just lighting it up, man. He's had 340, 330, 355. I mean, he's just slinging it, man. So, yeah, I think the Packers are going to be in for it here.
Well, here's Pete was asked about this, about the schedule and did the Seahawks get screwed by the league? And here's what Pete had to say.
I don't have any idea. They have a formula, I would think, to figure that out. I don't know what they're doing. Okay. But we're just going to go play the game. This last week was our first playoff game. This next week is our next playoff game, and away we go. And so hopefully we can keep marching and be prepared for the opportunity.
The Packers were in a bad way, man. I mean, look, early on they were 3-1. They won 3 in a row, but man, then they lost 5 in a row, and now they're on a win streak right here. So I think you got a collision of two teams here that and they've beaten some pretty good teams. I mean, they beat the Dolphins in Miami, and then they beat Minnesota really bad. Yeah, 41-17. So yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. Yeah, I didn't see that was any kind of problem, or that the NFL is trying to put what they think is the best game in Sunday Night Football. I don't think that screwed the Seahawks.